A warm welcome to the July episode of the Uxbridge FM podcast. And maybe summer is here. There's a few events starting to happen as we get released from the COVID restrictions, so we'll be finding out what's going on in Uxbridge and the Colne Valley. There's a bit of comedy too. There's clubs and societies restarting as well, so we'll chat to a couple of local sports clubs. Then, to finish off, we'll have a nose into the Mayor's Parlour in the Civic Centre. All coming up on this month's episode. First off this month, let's chat to Kira Gibson from the Uxbridge Business Improvement District team. Now, Kira, I've got to say, I think Uxbridge is looking pretty good right now. It's clean, there's flowers everywhere, including around a phone box. And I gather there's a festival coming up too.
There is so much happening this summer, but thank you for noticing all our beautiful flowers. Yes, we've got 36 boxes on the train station roof. All the hanging baskets are back in the town centre. And we've also got all the flowers back in on Oxford Road, because we pay for all of those as well. And the phone box flowers, oh my goodness, have we had the most amazing response. I was in Harrison Hall the other day and some ladies were talking about it. And Daniel, the manager, said, this is the lady who's done the flowers. And they said, we've sent them to Australia, the Ukraine. Like, they've just sent images all over. People are loving it.
Best use for a phone box probably ever.
Ever, I agree.
So, coming up in July and August, no Glastonbury this year, but we have got the Uxbridge Festival.
This is it.
Tell us more. What's happening?
So, we've got 6 weeks of fun. It is the best party in town, all happening in Uxbridge Town Centre. We're kicking off things officially from Saturday the 24th of July. And on that day, we're going to be having, as it's launch day, we've made it extra special. So we've got a car show, motorbike show, performers coming in. We've got a 30-piece mariachi band walking up and down the town centre, covered in flowers. We've got local band, The Slogans, playing. They're going to be playing throughout the day. We've got a Malfi Gin and Fever Tree gin bar, including little mini bottles of Prosecco. We've got Love Uxbridge, Uxbridge branded deck chairs that people can sit in their deck chair and just hang out and have their Prosecco or their gin.
Nice.
I'm so excited. On the day, we've got clockwork ballerinas that are women dressed up as ballerinas that you wind up and they run along through the high street.
Okay.
And we've got giant flower performers. I've got a bubbleologist that makes giant bubbles that the kids can run through.
Bubbleologist. Fantastic.
Balloon modeller. At the car show, we've got the Ghostbusters car. So then they come, the 4 guys all dressed up as the Ghostbusters, and they run around the town. Yeah. And we've also got the summer market as well, which I can't wait for. And that'll be every Thursday, Friday and Saturday throughout the summer. So the first day of the market is the 22nd of July. Saturday, the 24th of July is kind of like our big official kick-off day, launch day for the festival. And then moving forward, obviously the market is on those 3 days, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Do we know what sort of stalls are turning up yet?
Yes, we do. We've got lots of delicious food stalls. So there may or may not be vintage ice cream van, churros, pick and mix. We've got lots of local shops as well having a stall. For example, the amazing balcony shirts, who we were discussing earlier, are going to be having a stall for 2 weeks, and their stall is just going to look epic. I can't wait to see it. They've put so much into it. Lots of, local Uxbridge Town Centre businesses are having a stall as well, which is really nice to make people aware of the amazing range of shops and eateries that we have.
So the festival on the 24th, that's going to be in the High Street and the sort of Charter Building foyer bit there. It
is, yes. So the car show will be on the High Street between sort of the Boots High Street facing side attached to the Chimes and Kevin Joseph Hair Salon. So kind of in that little stretch there, All Day and Miller. They're going to be, all the cars will be there. All the stalls will be towards WH Smith's and onwards back into the flower stall. And the bands and everything are going to be located sort of near Sports Direct, near a giant flower arch. You can't miss it. And then we've got the gin bar, which is going in next to Pratt.
Oh, lovely.
So, every Saturday for 6 weeks, we've got something. So
on those Saturdays throughout July and August, we've got different ones each day.
Different ones each Saturday.
Weekend.
Yeah. So on the Thursday, actually, we've got the Birds of Prey coming in. So the lovely Berkshire birds of prey, they have the gorgeous snowy owls and hawks that people can hold and have their photo with.
Yeah.
People just absolutely love them. I love them. So they'll have sort of an area in the market. And then on the Saturdays between 2 and 4 p.m, we have stuff for families and kids. So, for example, I've got a giant animatronic T-Rex, a 3-metre wide and 3-metre long animatronic tortoise that takes 4 hours to assemble and eats real lettuce. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it yet, but I'm very excited. Stilt performers, fairies, giant butterflies, giant peacocks, a dragon that comes along with a fairy. And then between 4 and 6, we've got lots of live bands. So the high street, just lots of noise in the high street and lots of fun. And so people can have their gin from the pop-up gin bar and listen to the music and stay in the town, go out for dinner in the town, visit one of our amazing pubs, restaurants, pop to the cinema. There's lots to do.
So the trick now, of course, would be, as you say, to book an evening meal, wouldn't it? Because I'm sure that'll get booked up. Book it now while you can, and then come and enjoy the events till 6, and then eat in the town centre.
Definitely.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, the last day everything finishes at Saturday, 28th of August. So we're going right throughout the summer holidays because nobody can go away this year.
No.
So, we're going away in Uxbridge.
Right to the bank holiday. And we've also planned good weather as well, I hear.
It's all
booked in.
Yep, sun, lots of sun, no rain. We've made a deal with the weatherman and we're hoping for the best.
So are you sort of running about in a fluorescent jacket across these events, looking a bit stressed, or are you all chilled and relaxed and ready?
Never stressed. But I will probably be in my fluorescent jacket with 2 mobile phones and a walkie-talkie and a clipboard.
Yes.
That's normally how you can spot me. But
chasing a dinosaur or a caterpillar.
Yeah, chasing a giant dinosaur or an animatronic tortoise.
Now, I gather there's also a nature trail coming up as well. This is exciting.
There is, yes. So we're doing it in partnership with the wonderful team at Con Valley.
Yep.
And we've got 25 creatures that will be hidden. So we've got window vinyls throughout the town and 25 different shops, eateries and businesses who are participating. Each one has a name and a little bit of fun facts about the creature in question, habitat, where it lives. The whole point is that it's something slightly educational, but we're making it fun. So we're hiding the educational side of it for the kids. But we just thought it'd be really nice for them. They're learning about nature as well as having fun. So you're going to have a trail map with lots of activities on it, sort of a word search, some nature jokes that I wrote. Apologies in advance. They are quite bad, but they're fun for kids. Just lots of things to do on the trail. And then they run around, visit each business, write down the name of the creature and what it is. You can win a prize, which is a family trip to London Zoo, which would be lovely.
Yeah.
And the bonus animal is at Con Valley. And you win a separate prize if you get the bonus animal. Everybody's put into a draw and then you could win something amazing. So
and that's the Denham Country Park, is it?
It is, yes. Yeah. So it's literally 5 minutes outside of Uxbridge Town Centre. And
to find that last animal, you've got to go and visit the park.
Yes, but you can do the trail just from the town centre. You don't have to go to the Con Valley.
I see, yeah.
Because otherwise that would be a bit harsh for some people. But so the option is there. And if you do make it to the 26th one, then you're entered into a different prize. And you can win vouchers to spend the day in Con Valley. So stuff to spend in the gift shop and lunch for the family in the day. So it's like a family day out there.
Oh, lovely. That's great. Right.
And that kicks off last week of July and will be running until September.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Kira, for popping in.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody get down to Uxbridge Town Centre throughout the July and August. And once again, website loveuxbridge.co.uk. Now, also happening in July and August, there's the Colne Valley Festival throughout the Colne Valley. Fiona Brewer is project manager at the Colne Valley Landscape Partnership. Fiona, what's happening in the Colne Valley then?
This year, because of uncertain times, we decided instead of having a single-day festival, normally at the end of July, we're going to have a festival fortnight. So it's called the Colne Valley Park Festival Fortnight, and it starts on July 24th, and it finishes on August the 8th.
So what's going to be happening?
We've been really fortunate, and we've been partnering with different groups and charities and organisations throughout the Colne Valley Regional Park and promoting some of their activities as well as working with them to generate different activities as well. So we've got lots of things happening. As you might know, the park itself is 43 square miles in area, and it runs from Rickmansworth down to Staines, then from Langley Park or Langley area to Uxbridge. And so we try to engage with lots of different places throughout the park to try to create lots of different interesting activities and events that people can enjoy. So one of the events you might want to go to is in Harmondsworth Village, and it's the Harmondsworth Great Barn, and it's an open day, and that's on July 25th, and that's from 11 to 4. It's free to go and have a look at this 15th century type barn, which is an amazing structure that you can enjoy. And if you then feel like going and having a walk on the Harmondsworth Moor, it's not far to go to enjoy that as well. Also, we've got other different kinds of walks in the north part of the area of the park. We've got Maple Lodge Marsh, which is a project that we've been working on with Thames Water. It's a walk and talk, and that's on July 26th. We also have river dipping and mini beast hunts at Denham Country Park. And if you feel like going on a trip along the Grand Union Canal, you can go to Batchworth Lock Canal Centre, and they run boat trips on the Grand Union Canal, so you can enjoy that as well. See the world from the canals like people would have done hundreds of years ago. Also, we're doing some online talks as well, and these are free, and you can sign up for those. They're only about an hour long because we realise people have busy lives and they want to go out and do other things as well. But they're all quite interesting. One is on life of the endangered European eel, also life on the canal, and we have an online talk about toads and amphibians that's being given by Emily from Frog Life, as well as one on reptiles. So you can see those, and those are free to sign up to. So we'd love to see you, and hopefully the children will find those interesting as well. We have another activity, Meet the Farmer. That's at Denham, so you can find out what it's like to be a farmer. If you're interested.
A lot of hard work, I imagine.
A lot of hard work. Our farmer, he has cattle that are grazing at Denham Country Park in the Misburn Meadow as part of our conservation grazing project. So he can talk about why he's doing that, as well as you say, what life is like as a farmer and getting up very early in the morning. If you feel like you want to do a bit of a conservation event, you can sign up for that. Also, we have children art sessions that we're running a few of those. There's loads of different things, and we're continually adding to it. But if you want to find out more, on the Colne Valley Park website, colnevalleypark.org.uk, we have a Fortnight Festival webpage that you can go to. And on there, there's a calendar which has loads of different activities and events.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Fiona. Now, who doesn't love a bit of comedy? Well, Phil Smith's here from the Comedy Bunker. Phil, what's coming up?
Well, we've got quite a lot of exciting shows coming up, actually. Starting the 22nd of July, we've got Milton Jones coming back to headline. This will be the first time he's been at the new venue at Uxbridge Golf Club, and obviously it'll be the first show where we can have full attendance. I'm not intending on having a packed room because I realise there's still a few people out there that would still rather tread carefully, even though we can have full capacity. I am going to still limit the numbers, but that will be an awful lot of fun. Then we have the August break, and then we're back on Friday the 17th of September with Bob Mills. And then after that, we've got people like Bobby Davro coming up, and we've even got an appearance from Harry Hill. So I haven't put that on the website yet, but please do get on the main list if you want to be one of the first to hear about that. And
then the website is comedybunker.co.uk.
That's it.
And reminding people that we're now at the new venue.
That's right, yes, Uxbridge Golf Club.
Which confusingly isn't in Uxbridge, really.
No, it's a few hundred yards from Uxbridge. It's sort of, the address is Ickenham. There we go. Very confusing. Well, it's actually called Harefield Place, if you want to get it a bit more confusing. But
I mean, it's a nice venue, isn't it, for comedy? Nice for food, actually, as well.
It is actually. It's very, it's sort of independently owned and run. There's actually managers that work there that actually, real sort of hands-on people who care how the night goes, who care that the people who come along every week have a good time and want to come back.
Well, that's great. It gives us a flavour of what's coming up at the Comedy Bunker.
No problem. Thanks very much, and speak to you soon.
And as we all get released from lockdown, perhaps you fancy trying a new sport or activity. We're going to chat now to a couple of local club organisers. First off, Uxbridge Amblers is a walking football club. Mick Geraghty is General Secretary. Now, first of all, I've never heard of a walking football club. Is this a new thing?
Not really. Walking football's been around for about 10 years or so, but we first picked it up in Uxbridge nearly 7 years ago. We saw an advert on the TV, Barclays Bank, using some old guys walking around kicking the football, and we thought it was a bit of a joke at the time. But we Googled up walking football, and lo and behold, it was a proper game. So a friend of mine, Mick Harvey, who's a well-known figure in local football, we decided that we'd take it a step further, contacted the Middlesex FA, and we started a session at Hillingdon Leisure Centre. And 7 years on, we're going strong. We're the Uxbridge Ambers Walking Football Club, the first independent walking football club in London to be formed, which we're very proud of, and FA Charter status as well. So we've set ourselves up as a proper football club, but we walk.
And what's the rules? How do you decide when you're running or when you're walking?
We don't even use the term walking anymore. It's jogging, because all these players that we play with, they think jogging's fast walking. The basic rule is 1 foot on the ground at all times. I think that's really something to look at if you're refereeing a game. There's 2 key rules, which is no running or jogging, and also no contact. Now, there'll always be some contact, but if it's aggressive or there's no going to ground like slide tackles or anything like that. So it's really a technical and skillful game when played properly.
So no pulling of shirts or hacking down players or anything like that?
We've got a few Italians want to join us, but no.
And where do you train?
We're at the Hillingdon Sports and Leisure Centre up in Catting Way there on the outdoor 4G pitch. We've been there for nearly 7 years. We affectionately call the outdoor space the Amble Dome. There's no dome there, but it's a nickname we've given the place, and we treat it like our own. And we have 2 sessions a week. We have Wednesday mornings, 11 o'clock till midday, and 6:45 to 8 o'clock on the Friday evening, which is our main club session. Okay.
And what's the sort of average age of the players?
To qualify to play, you've got to be over 50. The game was set up originally for the over 50s, and it was to attract the older person back into sport. In general, and obviously if you're an ex-footballer of any type or whatever or shape, then come down and have a go. Our age range is 50, 51 to the oldest player is 76.
Whoa.
You know, and when we play our club sessions, we mix them all up because we know the guys, and it's a good fun. But when you're playing competitively, which we do in the Middlesex League and other competitions around the country, then you'll have over 50s competitions, over 60s, and now as time is going on, you're getting over 70s as well.
Yeah. So I guess it's a real sort of social thing as well as the playing football.
I think that's probably been one of the keys to our success as a club. We use the Uxbridge Sports Club, some people might know it as the cricket club on Gatting Way, as our social hub, have done from day one, and we've created an old school football club type of environment. And that's really been important for our members, because we've got guys who've come into our club who maybe have been widowed, or been isolated in the community for whatever reason. And that social aspect, both on and off the field, has been so important in bringing them back into the community.
Yeah. And also some charity work involved, I hear, as well, raising money.
Yeah, I mean, very early on, when we started doing our social functions, raffles would raise something like 500 quid, and it was like, wow, and we have a quiz night, 400 quid. So we decided that we didn't need that money as a club, we need enough to tick over. So we decided to lock into some local causes and get involved in the community. So we started off with DASH, the Disabled Association of Hillingdon, and I coached the disability football teams there, and we funded their training, pitches, etc. And then that followed on to the Hillingdon Brain Tumour Group. We got involved with Dementia Friends of Hillingdon with the council, and also Harlington Hospice.
Oh, great.
So lots going on. We've raised over £26,000.
I say, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Some very worthy charities there.
Yeah.
So you travel around all the country and get on a bus and do proper football tours and things?
Yeah, well, the longest tour we've done, the longest journey's been to Italy. We went to Italy in around 2016.
Yeah.
Quite a few teams from England went over, and there was 3 teams from Italy, and we played in what they called the European Masters, and we won it. And our second team got runners-up, so We can say we were the first European champions. I don't care what anybody says, we were the first. And it was sponsored by Stannard Stairlifts. Other stairlifts are available.
That's great. Stannard Stairlifts.
Yeah. Other sponsor.
There's a niche sponsor for a walking football club.
Yeah.
I like it. So you were also involved in some other training, aren't you, as well, with some different clubs and societies in the borough?
Yeah, through our fundraising and our charity work, we got involved with Dementia Friends with the council. And I was off stage left developing a seated exercise class using a football as the focal point for older people. And I got involved with Harlington Hospice initially through Dash. Mondays at Harlington Hospice is Dementia Day. Okay. So I got very involved with a dementia group there. Very, very special group of people. And that then expanded into working with Hillingdon Council, as I do today. I work with over 100 people a week normally, and we deliver reminiscent sessions and also seated football exercise classes. That also then got me thinking about, once I got to know people in the borough with dementia and their carers, there is a lot of affection for football. Okay, right across the community, all age, all backgrounds. So we've started about 18 months ago, just before lockdown actually, a walking football session for people with dementia and their carers, and we call it Forget Me Not FC.
Okay.
And it's really taken off. We had a session last Friday. Last session, 24 people attended. We do it in conjunction with the Hillingdon Council and the Middlesex Football Association. We've had some wonderful support from both of those groups. To see people's faces getting out and being active, and so all the stuff we know works with us in walking football works with any group.
Yeah,
we were so chuffed. We won the FA Grassroots Project of the Year 2020 for that particular project.
Oh, good work! Yeah. So how do we get involved if you want to go and join up with the club?
Well, go to our website, uxbridgeamblers.co.uk. You can fill in the form on there. That'll be pinged through to us, and then we'll always reply and get you down for a free taster session.
Yeah. So website again, www.uxbridgeamblers.co.uk. I'm popping on there now. There's lots of interesting information as well, including a well-being page.
Yeah.
And probably a bit tongue-in-cheek, hydration. Staying hydrated is essential for everyone.
Yeah.
It's a very large...
Especially after the session.
Is that a big part of it?
I mean, all that health and wellbeing stuff is so important, because I'm a level 3 UEFA B licensed football coach. That's my background.
Yeah.
So the way we set the sessions up, we're very structured in terms of, we ask people to arrive 15 minutes early to start their warm up. Warm ups are very important, without a ball, then with a ball, and also stop for drinks at various points through the session. Yeah. So we're very, very keen on that. We also have a physio that we can refer people to as well, because people do get little pulls and strains. And so we try to cover all of that sort of thing at the club.
That's great. Thanks, Mick, for popping down and telling us all about the Uxbridge Amblers Walking Football Club. Once again, the website, uxbridgeamblers.co.uk. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve.
So football's not your thing? Maybe a martial art? We have got Ken Lyons in, who's chief instructor at Uxbridge Karate Club. Hi, Ken. How are you?
Hello, I'm pretty good, Steve. And you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm going to learn some new words today, I think, which is good. Now, tell us about history of Uxbridge Karate Club, first of all.
Well, I mean, there'd been a club on the RAF Uxbridge base, and my daughter was getting bullied at school, and we just thought, getting into some martial art of some sort, discovered that there was a club on the camp, and so I managed to get on there. It was open to civilians, but you had to go through security to get onto the camp. I started taking her there, and then the process of taking her there and then coming home and drinking a cup of tea, watching a bit of TV, then rushing back, I decided to take up karate myself. So for a number of years, we both did karate, and we sort of went through the ranks from white belt, and we got as far as purple belt, which is sort of just over halfway, I think, to black belt. And then she got to an age, she was then sort of in her 13, 14. So she decided to leave the club, which was a disappointment to me. But by then she'd become quite a confident individual. And I thought I'd just keep going, because I got the bug, and I'd discovered that I wasn't quite the wimp I thought I was, and quite enjoyed the idea of being able to defend myself and all the other attributes that come with it, the confidence building. I found out I was behaving better at work, not getting agitated so quickly, and I started to enjoy that, and so it went on. And then around about the turn of the century, the millennium, the then instructor, he was in the RAF, he was posted to Gibraltar, and somebody had to take over the club, and I was the senior member. If you're a sensei, a sensei, this is a Japanese word, means teacher.
Yeah. Okay.
You're the one that's responsible for everything. So I took over the club as a brown belt and feeling quite out of my depth, but it was a baptism of fire, if you like. It's I learned the hard way.
So whereabouts do you train? Where's the dojo? I learned the word dojo today.
Dojo, yes, training hall. Yeah, we train at Bishop's Holt. We've been at Bishop's Holt since 2010. And that's where we are, Bishop's Holt School, every Monday and Wednesday from 7 o'clock to 8:30. We train anybody, providing is 6, there's a requirement from the affiliation. We don't teach anybody younger than 6.
6, okay.
Yeah, so once you're 6, you're welcome to come along with your mum and dad. Your mum and dad are allowed to train with you. We've got a number of families that train together, mums, dads and kids. We've got an influx of youngsters at the moment, sort of 6, 8, 10. But we've still got adults, and we've got 3 instructors. Between us, we'll manage the setup. We maybe take the adults into the other room or to another area, and the children will be separate. The novices will obviously need some special attention.
Yeah.
People have only just joined and are really struggling. And then within weeks, you see them sort of like develop and being quite confident, and you see the smiles on their faces when they do a little sequence that they've worked on, you worked on with them.
And can you just turn up, or do you have sort of new members' evenings or new members' days?
Well, you can turn up, you can ring us. Obviously, it helps if we know you're coming.
Yeah.
First lesson's free anyway, so you can check it out and see whether you like it or not.
You're not like chopping breeze blocks in half and things, that sort of thing?
I've never tried it, and I think at my age, I don't think I should. If I can explain what karate is. Yeah. Karate is a form of self-defense. The thing that's unique with karate is that it's a block and counter, and that's it. So the idea is self-defense. If somebody's coming at you with a big stick or with a big fist, the idea is you save yourself from being injured and that you hit them back. With karate, the idea is that you stop a technique coming in and you put them straight down on the floor. That doesn't really necessarily happen, but that's the objective, block and counter. There's 3 levels of training. There's basic training, where you learn all the skills, and that's called Kion. So Kion means basic. It's a Japanese word for basic. All the basic moves, yeah. So you learn all the techniques, all the blocks, all the punches, all the kicks. Most of the training that we do revolves around that, learning those basic techniques. And then there's another K, which is called kata. Kata is the Japanese word for form. And basically that's a series of moves, blocks and counters, kicks, punches, strikes. This is in a form of a routine. It's a series of moves which would be a pretend fight, perhaps, with the invisible man. And then there's obviously sparring, which is the other K, which is kumite. That can be light sparring, light kumite, which is touch contact, where you're bobbing around in front of somebody and trying to strike, and they're trying to block you. And that can be quite fun. And that's the first... When people are learning to fight, that's where we move them to eventually, is that light, fun, tagging somebody, it's a play fighting. And then that will develop into a fully fledged combat situation, a dojo fight. And the intention is to score a point. It's not like in other forms of sport where you score as many points as you can or reach a particular number. The idea is that with karate, if you're using karate correctly, when somebody tries to strike you, your response is a killer's response. Okay, so if you reply with a killer response, which is ippon, which means you win with one strike, that makes you the winner. So that you do hit your opponent in these fights, but it's done with control.
Yeah.
So the intention is not to injure, but it's to score a point.
Tell us about more of the other skills that maybe kids can learn from karate. You mentioned discipline and you mentioned handling your emotions better.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, when they come in and they're sort of a little bit intimidated by you and your dojo and all these people in white pajama suits and different coloured belts, and they sort of look up, even with adults, you can see that sort of concern, what have I let myself in for? That timidness or that feeling insecurity soon disappears. With a few lessons, they're suddenly part of the team, they're part of the training process, and no one's ever ridiculed for their inability to do something. It's about nurturing and making it new skills possible. For some people, that's really easy. Some people are athletic and they just take to it and they can kick up to the ceiling, and other people struggle, and it's about nurturing them. And that's, I guess, if you say, what are the benefits of karate? It's the confidence that people get. That confidence allows you to control your emotions. And, in a situation where, and we've all been there, suddenly, you find yourself in a heated environment and you're the centre. You knock somebody's drink over in a pub, and he's angry, And the natural response to that, if somebody was to come at me and shout, and I'm not, if I wasn't trained or had some experience in martial arts, I'd be defensive, right? I'd be protecting myself and I'd be standing my ground. That's a normal thing for a human being to do. But if you're relaxed and you're not feeling anxious about the situation, which tends to happen, the more skilled you become, the less tense you need to be in difficult situations. Allows you to be more relaxed, and that immediately can break the ice. Sorry, mate, so do you want another one? What are you drinking? So you think sensibly, what do I do? It's a difficult situation, I can stand my ground, I can have an argument with him, or I can make friends with him. And in a situation like that, if I did, if you ever see me in the pub, accuse me of knocking over a drink, you probably get a free pint from me. In life, you don't need to be aggressive with everybody. And when I started karate, my first benefit was at work. Yeah. Being around subordinates and seniors and just feeling that I fitted in, because I felt more comfortable with myself, gave over a better vibe. You don't have to put on a facade.
So the website, uxbridgekarate.com, you can go on there. There's a bit of history about the club, and anybody who wants to join, head to the website, uxbridgekarate.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So there's Ken Lyons, who's also a 70s rock music star. There you go. So football and karate doesn't appeal. Maybe try some archery. Hillingdon Archery Club meet at Brunel University, and they're welcoming new members on Sunday the 8th of August from 11 till 2. It's perfect for the whole family. All equipment is provided and no experience is necessary. Their website, hillingdonarchery.co.uk. Thanks to Ken Pearce, our local historian, for these. Here's some anniversaries going back a few years of things that happened in Uxbridge. So 1921, 100 years ago, after a fundraising campaign over several months, a ceremony was held to mark the introduction of the first X-ray equipment at Uxbridge Cottage Hospital in Harefield Road. So many people came that the meeting had to be held in a field opposite the hospital. Lady Cox from Hillingdon House gave an address. The hospital closed in 1978, and the building has now become Clare House, a private care home. The first bus service was introduced in our area. There had been horse buses before, but now there were motorised vehicles. A joint scheme between the London General and Thames Valley companies led to a service being run between Uxbridge and Hounslow. A large bus garage had been built on the Oxford Road at Denham. Going back 90 years ago, and Long Lane was a country lane running between farms and fields belonging to Lord Hillingdon. The sale of his estates was the start of a transformation. Long Lane had become a major highway, with housing estates on either side. The average house price was about £600 or £700. The exception was Tudor Way, where 45 houses with mock Tudor features were on sale from £995. 1941, 80 years ago, electric trams running between Shepherd's Bush and Uxbridge had been replaced by trolley buses in 1936, but most of the tram lines had been left in the ground. Now, in wartime, the metal was urgently needed and the rails were being lifted. Going back to 1971, 50 years ago, shops in the Pavilion Centre were still being opened. A crowd gathered to see John Pertwee open the McFisheries supermarket. At the time, he was playing Doctor Who in the popular TV series, the third person to have that role. So lastly this month, we're going to chat with Patrick von Mahoney, who's now retired but spent 20 years working in the Mayor's Parlour in the Civic Centre as mace bearer. And while working there, learnt a lot about the many artefacts on display there. So first of all, for anybody who doesn't know about what mayors do in the Civic Centre, what is the Mayor's Parlour, first of all?
It was the welcoming, neutral part of the Civic Centre where all visitors are welcome, invited of course, and it was a social business area.
So it's a room that maybe holds about, 30 people or so, I suppose?
Well, we had the particular parlour itself where the mayor's desk was, and there was also seating in there, and then there was a passageway where we could put tables for entertaining.
You were mace bearer and mayor's officer. Started off as a part-time job, and then you made it into a kind of full-time role, it seems. So there for 20 years. Lots of tradition in that role. The mace in particular. Tell us about there's two maces in the Mayor's Parlour due to the unique makeup of the history of Hillingdon. How does that come about?
Firstly, there was a traditional silver gilt mace, which is the Borough of Uxbridge mace, which came into being before 65 for a period of time, which was a very traditional mace. I don't know if you've ever observed in the House of Commons, the mace in front of the speaker there. It's very much that shape. But the Hillingdon mace, of course, is quite unusual because it was made of silver. And once or twice, when we've actually done functions, and the Duke of Edinburgh's there, he's always come over and admired the mace because it's one of the very few silver maces in the whole of London.
And what's the point of the mace?
The mace is the authority of the Crown. So when it's actually on council meetings, it means that there's able to speak, discussion. When the mace is removed, then meetings have to stop. So in the presence of Her Majesty, Hillingdon only reversed it actually for the monarch. So it was always put upside down.
Oh, I see. So if the Queen's there, you turn it upside down.
Yes, yeah, which technically is the right way, because if you hold the mace that way, you can actually hit somebody on the head with it.
Right. And hopefully no one's ever used the mace in anger. I'm sure they haven't.
No, it's one a traditional, but the purpose of the mace, if you go actually look at the Buyer tapestry, you've actually got Bishop Oda there, who's the half-brother of King William.
Okay.
And in that series of Buyer tapestries, he's holding a mace because they could hit you on the head, but they couldn't slice skin, so they never carried swords, bishops, clerics. So it's actually a preventative weapon as opposed to an attacking weapon.
Yeah. It's a peaceful weapon in a way.
Yes, yeah.
So what were some of your duties as mayor's officer?
It varied, but a lot of it was secretarial support. For example, if the mayor wanted a cup of tea, I was there. If the mayor needed to go out of the parlour, I would accompany the mayor to different functions.
Right.
I would also meet people in the parlour, sort of like, not a stepping stone, but sort of a halfway point to the mayor, because in many cases, a lot of people were nervous of meeting the mayor. And just to cut the ice, just to actually say, he is human and he doesn't bite. or she for that matter.
Yes, it could be a female, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. There's other things in the Mayor's Parlour. I've been there once or twice, various souvenirs from different visits and photographs and things. Tell us about some of those, maybe.
The most important one, in my belief, is actually a photograph of Her Majesty the Queen, which is signed, one of the first signatures of the Queen, dated 1952. And it's actually quite a large portrait of Her Majesty the Queen coming back from Kenya after receiving the news, of course, of her father's death. And at the reception party, there is actually her Prime Minister at that time would have been Sir Winston Churchill. There's other dignitaries in the lineup as well. It just shows sort of her change in status because the people in the lineup got no hats on.
Ah, right.
So she's at the top of the stairs waiting to descend the stairs. And of course, until she actually gets to the bottom of the stairs and steps foot on British soil, her husband, of course, Prince Philip, is still on the plane. And maybe this is the first time it's acknowledged that he is behind the Queen.
I see. Are there any other gifts and things that are of interest, like knives and things? And
Yeah, there's actually some, as you may be aware, there's actually a large community of Nepalese in Hayes, and a lot of them are ex-Gurkhas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So there's actually an association of the Gurkhas and Nepalese community. And once or twice they've actually been to the parlour and they've actually presented the kuru, the knife, which by tradition, if they actually draw it from the sheath, they have to cut their finger because it can only be drawn when they draw blood.
Okay.
So not many people take it out of there.
No. So you were also involved in helping the mayor with their robes, I suppose, getting dressed and things. Are there any interesting facts about the mayor's robes you can tell us?
Well, I think also on the mayor's robe in particular, you've actually got very long sleeves on that robe. And it actually stems from the saying, the long arm of the law. You can't escape. Because at one time, by tradition, there were JPs or magistrates, mayors, and they would sit actually at one time on the Uxbridge bench. But I think that tradition's gone now. It's a very, very traditional, the colour of the robes, because at one time, people could only wear certain colours. If you was above your station, you would actually be penalised or imprisoned for wearing the wrong colour.
Wow.
Certain colours were quite expensive to print and colour.
Of course, yes. So you travelled with the mayor to the mayor's visits. I suppose you had lots of chats with schools and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think also it's very relevant because when we used to visit schools, a lot of children at those schools had no resemblance what they could actually compare a mayor to.
Yeah.
So in many cases, they were actually quite glad that they could actually speak directly. They didn't have to go to anybody. They could speak to the person individually. And it showed the democracy in progress because in many of them, sometimes they would actually say, oh, it's the president or things like that, because I don't think they had any comparisons.
No.
They would speak quite naturally to children. There's no question that none of the mayors would not answer.
Yeah. Most mayors are normally quite friendly, aren't they?
Yes, yeah.
That goes with part of the job, I think. And different hats as well, if you're a male or female.
Yeah, for example, if you're a Madam Mayor, because a mayor is a mayor if it's male or female, you actually wore a tricorn hat, which is almost like a dandy hat. And then the mayors actually wore a bicorn, which is 2 points, which is the equivalent of a navy cap.
All kinds of tradition with this job.
I think it's also very important tradition because sometimes if you erode the small things, the big things follow.
And I gather as part of I don't know how this happened, but you became a freeman.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, it happened in 2007.
Yeah.
Some of my friends, livery people of the city, life members, freedom, and they actually put me forward. And I was quite sort of surprised that I was interviewed and accepted.
So as part of that, you can do what? What's your...
Well, I think technically the sheep and carry a sword, and there's one or two other ones which I may not go into detail and in case I get told off.
So you can bring your sheep across Tower Bridge.
It has happened in the past with some members of Freedom, but they actually a bit of planning into it and all that type of thing. But usually if they're trying to do a charity event or something like that, it doesn't happen very often.
No.
So, and also carry a sword as well, because you're there to protect the citizens of the city.
Yeah. And do you own a sword?
I have some ones that go on the wall, yes. Oh. But they're not sharp or they're not dangerous. No. You may be aware that all Hillingdon mayors actually nominate a charity. Yes. Usually they try and put the viewpoint on some of the local charities because even if it's £1,000, it makes a lot of difference to a lot of charities locally. So they usually put the spotlight on them. And over the years, the Mayor's Parlour team have actually probably raised over £1 million.
Wow, that's great.
And of course, one time it was actually doubled by Barclays.
Well, hopefully at some point you can come back and tell us some more funny stories and history of the Mayor's Parlour. That would be great. And for now, though, thanks very much for popping in, Patrick.
Thank you. Nice talking to you.
And to you, yes. Great stuff.
All
Thanks,
keep
mate.
safe.
And that's all for this month's podcast. Do get involved and let us know what you're up to. We'd love to chat to you. The email is studio@uxbridgefm.co.uk. We're on social media, just search Uxbridge FM. Do subscribe to the podcast in your podcast app so you get new episodes as soon as they're out. Thanks to all our guests and to Chris Allam for helping out and to local musician Luca Nieri for the music. Also thanks to London Media Lounge. We're using their studios. They have podcast facilities and video studios in Uxbridge for creating your content. Just search London Media Lounge for more information. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back next month.